Hi, Tony Bradshaw with AddSomeToYourIncome.com here to talk about how to focus in on increasing your income. A couple of thoughts on my mind today about how things keep being said about saving as your way to make more money. And I'm going to show you in a visual way with an actual scale how to focus instead of on saving, to focus on increasing the amount that you make. So let's dive in. Today, I was thinking a couple of times a thought that I've heard, a thought you may have heard too, and we hear a lot of things said about how to make more money, how to bring in more money. And I analyze these and I think about them. Well, most of them come down to something I remember hearing as a kid, and that is if you want to double your money, fold it in half and put it in your pocket. Let me do that with some actual money. So, if you want to double your money, fold it in half and put it in your pocket, right? So, what's the basic thought there? This $2 becomes $4 by folding it and putting it. That doesn't make sense. It might look like $4 sticking out for some silly reason. I remember when we were a teenager and we thought we would like fan out the money like that, but fold it in half and put like the napkin container on top when we were leaving a tip to make them think they had double. What a terrible, terrible trick we teenagers did. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, it looks like twice as much, kind of like that. It's just $2. I've just revealed that I wasn't that great of a teenager, but I think we all had those moments, right? Anyway, what is being said? So as I got older, I started, I mull that one over again, and I think, okay, it doesn't actually become $4, but because I take the money, I fold it in half, put it in my pocket, I have it instead of I spent it. So my equation becomes I spent less and I still have it, which means it's doubled because keeping something doubles the difference of spending it. Oh, okay. That's what the math equation is. And it was like, oh, all right, I gotcha. As I started getting to the point where it was scrimping by, it was being like misers, not even giving when kids would come to sell a candy bar at the door. We're like, no, we're folding our money and putting it in our pocket and it's ours. It just got unhealthy, right? And maybe for you, it's gotten to a point that it's unhealthy. You don't give a dollar? We'd have a dollar hat day. You wear a hat, you're supposed to pay a dollar. I'd wear the hat and I wouldn't pay the dollar. Fold it in half, put it in my pocket. I'm doubling it. This kind of scrimping, saving, keeping, make my money double by this weird math equation is often how people think about the money and give advice. There's so much of that advice that's saying money's just flying out of your hands, it's going everywhere. Well, maybe. And maybe that's actually how it is for them too. It's just they figured out how to increase their income. We can figure out how to increase our income. I have figured out how to increase my income. Let me put this in my pocket, ironically. I hadn't planned on I would spend it out. And I'm going to bring out the scale next and show what it is that I'm thinking, how it is I look at increasing the income instead of focusing on saving what's already come to me. Or in other words, decreasing expenses, which is what most people focus on. So I have here it's actually a balance, not a scale, it's a balance, which is what I meant to say all along because it is a balance when it comes to the money, and that's why it's called a balance sheet. I'm actually starting to reference a bit to the balance sheet. So I'm bringing out this balance, and I'm just setting it up here. You can't quite see it yet. I'm just going to drop this. Okay. one of those days. And bring this up here where you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I have this balance upside down. Bring it upside right now. There we go. And we have ourselves with the tubs on each side. And when they come onto here and we let this kind of settle a little bit, it is balanced. Now I also have here some coins. Don't tell my kids I stole their plain money. Anyway, so I have in here, a lot of these have been put into money bags, but I think I have enough to make my point that are not inside the money bag. When most people think about the balance sheet, they get a little bit confused. So I'd like to show the balance sheet. It's a little bit different than the on this profit and loss. There's some similarities, but there are also some differences on your balance sheet. It's also different than your cash flow. I'm not going to go into those kind of details today. You can think about all three of them similarly as what I'm about to show with this balance. And you can look up more information about what is the difference between cash flow statement, income statement, and the balance sheet. For now, I just want you to know that they are balanced. So at this point, I'm just kind of digging out some coins that are not yet inside of the separated out money bags. Fun games to play with money. They really are. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side as well. Yes, I dropped it on the floor. Okay, so here's where most of the financial advice leads. Here's what most people say about money. They notice that you are bringing home the, let's put it as 4, okay, which is actually even more than I am on the teacher. But anyway, so I got 4 pennies, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 pennies. Okay, now we see that the balance has tipped this way. What that is telling me is that there is more money coming in. Well, there's 0 going out right now, right? So it's gone this way. I know that because of being able to buy on credit, people can spend more than they're making with plans to keep paying that off later when they start making more later, and sometimes make decisions such as student loans and mortgage and car, and I have to buy the next phone, so I need to borrow money, right? They make these choices that they increase those expenses so much. But I'm just going to, for argument's sake, say that you are spending exactly what you are bringing in. So I'm going to put 4 more pennies, and this time I'm going to put it on the other side, and these 4 pennies are what you are spending. Now again, some people are living their life where it's 5 and it's slightly there. I'm helping it to go that way. And some people really do figure out how to have this equal balance or equilibrium. The point at which you're just breaking even, right? You're barely at the black. And what most of the financial advice talks about is, yeah, you're making what you're making. Know what you're making. That's hard to change. Let's not focus on changing the hard stuff like making more money. Let's focus on how you're spending it. And you just spend it all. And it's gone. And just imagine what your life would be like if you kept one of those pennies. And you'd have your balance. I'm going to make sure it's going to show out here obvious. You'd have your balance so that you are keeping. And you start penny pinching. And you start holding on to it. Right? I have a penny. I'm only spending 3 instead of 4. Okay. And eventually, where does this thought lead? Because what I am saying is, instead of penny pinching, why don't you focus on adding to your income? Make more money. And then Sure, keep spending all 4 of those, or even more. Or what does it look like if I end up bringing in enough of the cash? Let me grab the money bags for a second. What does it look like if how many bags is this gonna be? 1, 2. How much am I getting to spend? 3. Okay, there we're just a little bit extra more, right? So maybe not quite that last one. And some coins. And hey, there's still gonna be plenty on this. I'm gonna be able to spend quite a bit of money, quite a bit. So it's like, what happens to your life if you double your income? What happens to your life if you make 3 times as much money? How about 5 times as much money? What if you're making 10 times as much as you're making right now? What will happen to your balance sheet? And what will happen to your life if you focus on how to increase your income? It's not easy. Really being valuable and doing what it takes. If you've been watching these videos, and feel free to watch them, or whatever it is that you're doing to increase your income, they are correct. It's not easy. Easy to say scrimp and hold on to pennies and spend less and double your money by folding it in half and putting it in your pocket. I say double your income by finding ways to make twice as much money. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.